Welcome to TradersArmy.com, defending your right to build wealth and preserve capital for generations to come.
Yeah, Monday. What's up, everybody? It's Monday morning. Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. I hope you guys all had an amazing weekend. We're going to do what we do each and every day, looking at 10 to 12 futures markets from an educational and breakout perspective. Not a whole lot happening so far this morning, as we've got some sideways price action going on. So I'm going to keep this one pretty short today. If you were on the live trade room last night, not a whole lot of things have changed. One real quick announcement. We have a Thursday evening, Thursday, August the 1st at 7 p.m. is a webinar on options trading. So for those of you that don't trade options, I would ask you this. Why not? Options trading provides you a tremendous amount of opportunity. And in markets that are kind of chopping sideways like we've had in the futures for the last few days, options still give me the opportunity to look for good trades in a sideways market. So go to tradersarmy.com/registration to register for the options webinar. I'll put that in the link down below, and I'd love to see you join us there on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Central. If you're not interested, do me a favor, share it with somebody who might be, just to expose them to what options could look like. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Like I said, not a whole lot of changes on here from last night's live trade room. In the S&P, we pulled back a little bit, but have now just kind of been chopping around. And we were talking about the opportunity to get long is probably going to be in a breakout in one of these areas as we are coming off of the all-time high. Now, we did look down here at the 15-minute for a potential reversal, which is this little base rally above a pivot low. And so keep an eye on that as a potential sometime for today. In the Nasdaq, we actually didn't find as clean of a level as we did in the S&P. So for a potential reversal, as we've already tested this reversal level, we kind of came back into it on Friday morning and rallied up off of it. So now I'd have to go somewhere below there, and I don't have anything clean to lean on. Matter of fact, I don't come in anything clean to lean on until just about down in here, which would be around the European market open. And even that was retested right through here. So not a tremendous amount of great clean areas on either the S&P or the Nasdaq. Probably better to wait for a potential breakout out of these areas, as there's been no overall signs of weakness to lean off of. Crude oil, very similar picture to what we had last week. So that's why I said it'd be fairly quick today, because not a whole lot to add to our picture from the prior week in between our major areas of supply and demand. This does set up for a really nice iron condor trade for those of you that trade options on futures. This gives you a really nice iron condor opportunity. So potentially looking at an iron condor trade on this one. And then gold. Gold, we had the gap up. This was a gap up on a contract rollover, but I have found more often than not that those contract rollovers actually still are traded like gaps. So keep an eye on a retracement back into this region for price coming back into here. So like I said, not a whole lot of changes from last night's live trade room for those of you that joined us in our live trade room session. We had our bond trade. Did actually come into play in the overnight hours. So for those of you that were in the room with us, we actually got a little run off of the bond trade. So now you can take your stop and move it to break even. So hopefully you're able to catch that one. And if you were in the room with us, then you've gotten a little bit of a move. I wouldn't try this one again, although we got a little bit of a breakout from this region. But these upper wicks make it a little bit more hairy, so I don't know that I would try this level again. And I would take your stop and move it to break even at this point, since we've technically gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles, and we've gotten minimal movement. Take your stop, move it to break even, just to make sure you don't lose any of the profits that you would have gained. In the Aussie, we are putting in a potential for a breakdown, so this is a little bit changed from last night. This picture didn't really exist as cleanly as it does right now. This is setting up for a potential breakdown. Your stop would have to go above the last pivot, which would be somewhere up above here. But this is putting in for a potential breakdown, so keep an eye on this one as we break down out of that region. Your stop would have to go above this pivot here. Possibly, if you're really aggressive, you could put it right above here, but that's fairly tight. But that would be the best setup for a breakout from last night's change. And then the euro is still between the same levels we looked at last evening. No real adjustment on that one. We've got a little bit of a supply level up above us in this little wick over wick area here in the euro. Great British Pound and Japanese Yen, not a whole lot of change in that either. Great British Pound, we've got a rally area up in here if price comes back into this 244 region. We've got a little bit of a wick over wick area in there. But in order for price to get there, we were going to have to go through this area here, and that may be somewhat of a challenge as we sold off last night from that area. This little level here, being the European market open, could actually serve as a supply entry area as well. Stop would be up above the pivot. And then Japanese yen, we had a really nice touch and go entry off of here from last week, and so that level is still valid to be used for a second time. Looking at this thing for right now, as we were identifying an opportunity last night, it was right around here. Price has pulled back, and we're starting to see a little bit of a rise off of this level. But in reality, off the 4-hour chart, you can see we're really just in a sideways price action with very limited opportunities for this one. So those are my major markets that I'm looking at for today. Remember that you've got to follow your own set of rules as you go through this structure. One of the things I would say is that in a market like this, you don't need to force it. There's no need to force trades. If I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. Especially during an earnings period, you'll see the S&P flatten out at times, just simply waiting on where earnings are going to go and what we're looking at from an earnings season perspective. So that's once again another reason why we talk about trading equities and utilizing the options market. So whether you want to trade options on futures or options on equities, Thursday night, 7 o'clock, tradersarmy.com/registration. Join us for our free options webinar. Look forward to seeing you there. Have a great day. See you.